Hello, everybody. This video is for TAs for just an introduction to the Google Classroom. We are in a unique situation. So, your environment that is normally in a classroom supporting a teacher or several teachers and a student or several students has changed. So, this is just to kind of get you guys used to the online environment that students are going to see and the teachers going to see to give you some ideas of how to support the teachers, student, or students that you're working with. So anything I do here is just ideas. And I hope that if you're aware of this information, you might be able to share this with the teacher or teachers you're working with into as a way to kind of better integrate yourself into the classroom. And we'll see how that goes. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this is my agenda for this evening. Uh, my agenda for this evening is going to be in the description part of this video. So if you go down to the description right underneath the video, you're going to see a link. That link is going to open up this file and you're going to get a copy of it. So if you want to just pause the video right now and make a copy, you'll be able to edit it and take some notes to kind of help yourself out and understand things a little bit better. But as for now, I'm going to go to the Google Classroom. And the easiest way to go to the classroom is classroom.google.com right up here in the address bar. So Google has a great naming convention. If you want mail, it's mail.google.com. If you want docs, it's docs.google.com. And with the classroom, it's classroom.google.com. Now, I'm a teacher, so you're going to see my screen full of classrooms. You aren't setting up your own classroom. You are going to be trying to become a part of someone else's classroom. So the first thing that you need to do, as I mentioned in the agenda right here, is we're going to learn about the People tab. Okay. The reason why you're learning about the People tab is to tell the teacher what to do. So when I go to my People tab, I'm a teacher, and there I am. That's who I am. And here are all the students below. What you need to tell your teacher or teachers that you're working with is to please add you as a teacher to the classroom. So it says teachers. I go right over here and I click on invite. So I'm just going to type in someone's name right here. There's Sue Newman. I know that Sue Newman has been working with the district for some time. When the teacher types in Sue Newman, she hits invite. It's going to invite them to the classroom as a teacher. It is important, and I stress this, is important that you are a teacher in the classroom. You're not going to be posting anything, but you need to see what they see. I know a lot of teachers happen to add TAs as students. The problem is, as a student, you're not going to be able to see anything in the classroom besides what's being posted by the teacher. And if you're there to support a student or several students or the class in general, well, you're going to need to see what everything else is, how everything else is going on in the classroom. So you have to request the teacher or teachers that you're working with to please invite you as a teacher. If you're already a student, they need to delete you as a student. So the way they do that is they go over to the snowman. I'll be talking about the snowman in a little bit. The snowman is these little three dots. If you see I have highlighted purple where my finger is, those three little dots I'm going to call the snowman. So you could actually, remove students in that manner, excuse me. Or you could just go and select the student right here and the teacher can remove the student there. But again, I stress this, you have to be added as a teacher. So please make sure you tell the teacher that you're working with to do so. Now, on this People tab, if we're looking at communication, again, I don't know what your roles are in the classroom, so I'm just being very general. Something that you may want to talk to the teacher that you're working with is to make sure that they have guardians invited. If you have all of the guardians invited, well, that's fantastic because then the teacher could just click the email all guardians and it'll open up an email and they don't have to keep on adding all those emails and send a message. So it's a nice way to clean some things up. I've only met with a handful of teachers in my on-ramp course to get teachers who've never used a classroom before to actually, get into a Google Classroom. But if you're a person with an established teacher, that teacher might have been using Google Classroom and aren't aware of these features. So especially in my opinion, like the K-1 or elementary school setting, definitely there's going to be a lot more possible contact with parents than there are necessarily students. So when you invite the guardian, I'm going to click on that, just type in the guardian's email and it's going to send out an invite to them, and they're going to receive that invite and then become part of the classroom. As you can see here, I have a student whose parent has accepted the invite, and I have a student whose parent hasn't. Now, I deal with seniors, and that's another story. But you want to invite them. And I've told some of the teachers in the on-ramp class that if you have a student where the parent is regularly contacting you, maybe you put them on there automatically. And then on top of that too, because they're already here, I'm going to go to my example highlighted in purple. If we click on the snowman, I could email the student, or I could email the guardian right there. And that's probably going to help the teacher that you're working with get to things a little bit quicker. And again, if you email all the guardians, they're going to get hit up with a memo. Now, why I keep on stressing emails? Because this is for the instant piece of information. A guardian only receives a weekly summary. So I'm going to go back to the agenda, and I'm going to click on right here, this link about guardian emails. And as I scroll down, this is what the guardian's going to get. They're going to get a weekly summary of what has been posted, what is due, what is missing, things that were done on the classroom, assignments, questions, not daily announcements. So if we're focusing on communication, if you want to help the teacher or teachers that you're working with communication, you want to possibly get the guardians in so they get that weekly summary, but help the teacher understand that the parents, when they're in, they're not seeing everything the kid is doing. All they're doing is they're getting an update of information. All right. So this is the people tab. So remember, make sure that you get added as a teacher so you could see what's going on. And two, if you get to help spread the information, hey, why don't we invite this specific guardian to the classroom? Or maybe let's try to get all the parents in. The teacher has access to those emails in PowerSchool. And when you get them all in there, it's going to make communication a lot easier going back and forth. Because in this one screen, I can email any student and I can email any guardian. I could also mass email students, or I can mass email guardians. It's going to make everyone's life easier in this time of transition. Pretty simple. That's the first piece, the people tab. Now, the second tab I want to focus on is what's called the classwork tab. Now, again, when it comes to teachers, you have they have their role, and you guys as TAs, you have a different role. So I'd like you to possibly help the teachers become a little bit more organized. I have seen many, many different classrooms in my years of just trying to help teachers get themselves set up. And something that's kind of missed in this classwork tab is this feature called topics. So I stress this in my on-ramp class, but if they're not using topics, it's going to create a disorganized mess. Imagine if Unit 3, Lincoln's Institutions, wasn't here, Unit 2 wasn't here, Unit 1 wasn't here. Oh, and by the way, let me show you all of the information that I've posted in my classroom. Students are going to have a very, very hard time finding some things. So a topic is a very, very good way of organizing some stuff. Because you're a teacher, you could do it a TA as a teacher in the classroom, you could do it yourself, helping the teacher get some things organized. Or in that conversation with the teacher, they can do it. Because here's why. I can't find the work, says the student. Go to the classwork tab, go to chapter 7, and go to this assignment in chapter 7. Oh, now I get it. Versus having to scroll down through everything. Now, the nice things about topics is things can be reorganized. As I click and I drag, you're noticing that I'm going from 10, 9, 8, 7. I can do whatever I want to. I could drag an entire topic above another topic to reorganize some things. So in assisting in the classroom, this might be some help in just trying to keep some things organized, logically, alphabetically, according to date, etc. So that's the topic aspect. If you notice here on the left-hand side, that's like a little quick link. But here is where you create the topic. So if you're looking at a classroom and it doesn't have this organization, that's a signal to maybe have a conversation. Because if you're in that classroom as a TA for a student or for a small group of students, you're the one who's maybe conversing with them about maybe trying to keep their binder organized or trying to, be concerned about their planner and stuff like that. This organization in the classwork page is going to be vital for kids to be knowing where they have to be at all times. Now, because you are a teacher in this classroom, you're not going to be grading. You're not going to be, returning assignments and stuff like that. But you might be that person who, just like in the classroom, was helping with revisions and edits, or looking over a kid's shoulder to kind of see what work they're doing. You could do that here right in the classwork tab. So I'm going to go down to an assignment. I know it's an assignment because it has a clipboard and there's lines in there. This is called material with a little bookmark. Material is like that resource shelf that you have in your classroom of your books and videos and dictionaries and stuff. Whereas an assignment is something that students get. So I'm going to go down here as an example. Let's go to chapter 7 assignment. And I can see here that 13 students turn it in and 11 haven't just yet. So you could click on this and I can see all of my students and see the work that they've done. Now, I'm just kind of looking very, very quickly, but I notice here I could see a preview of everything. So I know that there's students that haven't filled it out at all. And I also notice from a glance that students have filled it in. Myself as a teacher, sometimes the kids just forget to turn it in. It says missing. I've known they've done the work. All right. If you see a student that has nothing there, so this doesn't count. Okay. But if there's absolutely nothing in there and says nothing is assigned, that means the student didn't actually even open the assignment to get the work. So if you're a person who's communicating with a parent or students just trying to make sure that they're on top of things, coming in and checking the assignment to see if they even opened it is a good start. Coming in and seeing if they even filled anything out, you can do it very quickly as a glance. I know that this student over here hasn't filled anything out because I kind of know what the notes looks like. I know that other students have filled it in. So that could be your little checklist. And now if you got to communicate with students, you could fire off an email to remind them what they should be doing, or we could do some other things. So I'm going to go into this student's work just to kind of show you what it looks like. As this loads up, I just want to let you know that when I click these arrows left and right, I could actually progress through students. I could select the next student or select the previous student. But while I'm in here, I have a couple ways to communicate. One, I could go over here to the right-hand side. I'm in the private comment section. So I could write a comment, and when I hit post, that's just between the teacher, the TA, and the student. It'll send an alert saying, hey, a comment was made on your assignment, on your review assignment. Please go check it out. So you can write your message right there. Additionally, because you're a teacher, you have ability to write some notes, to edit a little bit. So as TAs, in going in classrooms, I see you guys sometimes are looking over the student's shoulder, helping them out. You might be kind of jotting down some notes yourselves to make sure that they have something scribed to them appropriately. Some of you might be helping them with the way they kind of structure their ideas or sentences. So when I'm here on this document, I can highlight anything, an entire sentence or a single word. So I've highlighted that word works. When I click this button called add a comment, I'm telling them and I want to hit comments, that is going to wind up on the document. It's timestamped to say what's going on there. And this can actually be a conversation back and forth where the student can reply or the teacher can reply. You as a co-teacher, you could kind of go in and leave some information for students to figure out what's going on there. Okay. I'm going to resolve this to get rid of the comment, but that's one way of communication with the student that you're working with or students that you're working with. Secondly, I'm going to go up here. And if you see right now in the upper right-hand side, I'm going to click on that down arrow. There is an editing, suggesting, and a viewing. So when you edit the document directly, which means I delete words and I'm replacing things automatically. There's also a suggesting mode. When I suggest, watch what happens. I'm just going to delete this. And then I'm going to add, there are 4 types of linkage institutions. What happens here now is there is my suggestion for the student, a sentence, a word, an idea. And I'm saying replace what I've crossed out with this. The student can reply and you guys can kind of go back and forth on the side. Or what they could do is they could hit that check mark and say, I accept. So if there's a student who's making grammatical errors and you're helping them with their grammar and spelling, you could do that. I'm just going to make sure I undo this so I don't ruin the student's work. I apologize. There we go. You can sit there and do a suggestion. If you're helping them with writing, you can do that as a suggestion. If you are, you want them to see what they're doing wrong, but then you're going to put the correct thing, you can either edit and remove the whole thing. You could do a comment right there on the side by hitting that button. Or what you could do is you could actually just suggest. So all three ways are a way that you could communicate with the student. You're not there sitting next to their desk and kind of talking to them on the side, but you're there in this document. And, as you guys are assisting the students and also assisting the teacher or teachers, well, this might be a good way for everyone to kind of get involved and work with each other. So there's the private comments right here on the right-hand side. There is the add a comment right there once we highlight a word or something. And then up here, we could do suggestions or editing. At the end of the day, if you're able to communicate with that student through an email or communicate with that parent through an email in the as a guardian in the people tab, or do anything in this doc, it's going to help a lot of people out. The student or students that you're always working with, and the teachers as well, because we're all in the same boat together, just trying to figure out how to be in this world. So anything that you could do would be of assistance. And as I said in my meeting with TAs before this video, reach out to that teacher and give them the ideas that you've seen here. And maybe they're going to be able to say, well, I would appreciate this. Can you do this? And that's going to be the same thing. Maybe what you're probably going to be able to do is replicate what you have in the classroom physically in this online virtual classroom. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys, it's not on the agenda, it's just a side little thing, is the Stream tab. The Stream tab is just a little bit of just social aspect. So I could scroll the Stream tab and it's just a matter of all the things that are posted, all the announcements that are there, all the assignments that are made. So if you're a person, you just want to kind of say hello to the class, or you want to do a shout out to a couple of students, you could do that here in the Stream tab. All that is a little bit of social communication. So an example, if you saw 4 students and they weren't, they didn't turn in their work or they're missing some things, I could go to the Stream tab. I could select the 4 students right here with this down arrow, and I could say, please make sure you correct your essays. Thank you. When I hit post, those kids are going to get alert on their phone app. They're going to get an alert via email, and it's only going to go to those students or the student that you're working with. There's that like little flash and saying, hey, someone's trying to get a hold of you. So again, the people tab is there to make sure that you get added as a teacher. Okay. It's going to help you organize some things with communicating with students and or building a guardian list so that you could email parents, guardians. In the classwork tab, you have the ability to review work and then offer suggestions to that work. And in the Stream tab, it's a little bit of social, but then on top of that, what you can do is if you have several students that you're working with, you could actually send a message to those students right there, just at a handful of students. And by all means, whatever you've learned here, please feel free to share with your teacher, because your teacher may or may not know these things. So again, that's another level of support, because if they're understanding this a little bit better because of what you're understanding now, at least we could all move forward. So thank you very much. Have a good evening. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me whenever you need be. Have a good night.